Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life, whether to stay in the UK or to move to New Zealand.
Steve Clelland has been thinking about emigrating to New Zealand for a better life with his family.
I wouldn't say I'm not happy here, but I'm thinking, well, is it time to bite the bullet just now and take it from there?
His dream is to stop working for himself and do regular hours so he can spend more time with the family. But wife Leslie isn't so sure he can stop working.
Even if he did make the move, he would end up working for himself, and he would put himself to the same hours as he's doing just now.
The current value of their property comes as a complete shock.
It's too much of a loss, we couldn't afford it. It'd be a waste of time.
Which means they could only afford something that wife Leslie thinks is a nightmare.
I would be terrified in here at night. It just reminds me of every horror film I've ever seen in the 80s.
The Clellands have some tough choices ahead of them, but what will they decide? With its magnificent landscape and small population of only 4 million, New Zealand is many people's idea of the perfect place to get away from it all. To apply to live in New Zealand as a skilled migrant, you must be between the ages of 20 and 55 and be on the skills shortage list. But a move down under is never straightforward.
We've given another British family the opportunity to spend a week down under to see if it's all they've dreamt it would be. After that, they'll have to make a decision, one way or the other, to stay in the UK or to move to New Zealand.
Steve and Leslie Clelland live with their 3 children, 13-year-old Lauren, 10-year-old Amy and 6-year-old Andrew in Falkirk, Scotland. Steve wants to move his family 12,000 miles away to start a new life down under.
I wouldn't say I'm not happy here, but just to get more of an outdoorsy lifestyle, it seems like a nice place to go and try to convince everybody that it's a good idea.
However, his wife Leslie really isn't sure about making the move.
We do have a good life here and everything's fine. We've got a nice house, we've got nice friends, we've got family, and you're totally cutting your life off to start again, and it's not 100% that it's going to be the right move. And what if it's not? I don't know. I would like a guarantee, and I don't think you're going to get one.
Steve is certain that life down under would benefit all of them.
I think that our family unit could have a better life there. More peaceful, less stressful, there's more prospects for the kids when they leave school. I think there's more there than there is here. There's not going to be anything here. I'm thinking, well, is it time to bite the bullet just now while the kids are small enough to make a new life and take it from there?
But 13-year-old daughter Lauren isn't so sure about making the move.
Well, my feeling is that I don't really want to go. I'd like to go see the place, but I don't really want to go to live there because I like my house and my pals, I'll miss them all.
And 10-year-old daughter Amy has mixed emotions.
I'm not the one that really wanted to move to New Zealand. I'm fine with it, but I'm going to miss all my friends and that.
Steve is a self-employed refrigeration engineer and, as a result, does very long hours every day of the week.
It is a rat race, and it's a downward spiral rat race. I mean, I work as much as physically possible at the moment, and you're just staying above water.
But his work impacts on family time, and Steve's had enough.
It's good to be busy, but the downside is, for instance, Andrew, my youngest wee boy, usually when he gets up, the first thing he'll ask is there no work today? I drop him off at school, and the next time I see him is when I'm dropping off at school the next day, because they're in bed, they're sleeping by the time I get in.
Now I'm thinking, no, they're growing up, and I'm missing them growing up, which isn't nice. It's not a nice feeling.
Although Steve really wants to move, he knows it's a huge emotional wrench for the rest of the family.
I do feel guilty that I've put the idea forward. Mainly the kids, at the moment the kids are all happy. Leslie's so close to her family, and for me to drag everybody away from that, it is a bit, you know, it does get to me a wee bit, but I do think it would be worth it.
And Leslie's caught in the middle, as her sister and elderly mother really don't want her to make the move.
My sister Alison's not happy about it at all, not at all. She's to the point that we've actually had a lot of arguments about it. She's more than my sister, she's my best friend, and I would miss her. It'd be a big hole in my life. When I do think about my mum, I do get upset, because my mum's quite elderly now, and it breaks my heart not being able to see them. But I didn't expect that reaction.
Looks like Steve's got his work cut out. To help them make a decision, they're going to the vibrant city of Auckland, situated at the northern end of New Zealand's North Island. Auckland is known as New Zealand's City of Sails, as it has more yachts per person than any other city in the world. It's New Zealand's largest metropolis, boasting just over 1.3 million people and providing plenty of opportunities to enjoy its unspoilt landscape as well as its urban lifestyle.
We found 3 possible lifestyles for the Clellands, each one offering a brand new way of life for them to try on their budget. But which one will be the most suitable?
Properties are a lot better value in the country. Spacious family homes can cost around £280,000, so bang on the Clelland's budget. But if you want that dream place, you'll have to spend an awful lot more. Steve's commute to work into central Auckland would be over an hour's drive, but there are good transport links for Leslie and the kids to get to the hub of the city, as well as schools and outdoor activities on their doorstep.
So very different from their life in the UK. But what about the second option?
Property prices in the centre have boomed in recent years, and the Clellands would have to make do with less space than they have in the UK. This 4-bedroom property is on the market for just over £500,000. Too much for the Clellands, but they could look to the nearby suburbs, where houses are plentiful, from high-rise living to spacious family homes. Steve would have a short commute to work, which would mean more time spent together as a family.
That all looks very inviting. But what about the third option?
The beautiful coastline would allow the Clellands to live an active lifestyle that they're looking for. There are plenty of houses with great living spaces along the coast, but those sea views don't necessarily come cheap, like this one at over £500,000. Moving slightly further inland, however, would provide them with good-sized family homes for affordable prices. The commute for Steve could be an easy 20 minutes, and schools as well as water sport activities are on their doorstep.
3 very different options there, all of them life-changing. So where did we decide to send our family?
We've decided the beach option is the most suitable for the Clellands. It'll provide them with a good mix of coastal living as well as opportunities to find spacious family houses within budget. For their trial week, we've lined up a job for Steve.
Just jump up and have a look, eh? No worries. See what's going on.
They'll sample housing options in Arkles Bay.
I'll just stay here. That's me, I've moved. I don't need any more, I even like the furniture.
And they'll get a real taste of New Zealand life.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. Beautiful place.
But they have a tough week ahead of them as they try to make the biggest decision of their lives.
Here. I don't want you to go.
The Clellands are finally making the trip Steve's dreamt of for years. The journey takes them 12,000 miles and across 3 continents, from Falkirk to New Zealand. And 32 hours later, they reach Auckland, jet-lagged but excited.
Very long. But no, it was fine. The kids were really, really good. I'm really proud of them all.
I'm looking forward to getting out and seeing the place. You know, I've heard about it so many times and I've read about so much about it, but this is our chance to actually see it now, so I'm looking forward to that.
Time to see what New Zealand's got in store for them. It's the first time any of the Clellands have ever been to New Zealand, and they'll be staying in the coastal suburb of Red Beach, 15 miles from Auckland Central. The house has 4 bedrooms with stunning views of the Pacific Ocean. There's a huge open-plan living area, including a kitchen and enough rooms for the kids to choose their own. So, what will they make of it all?
Look at that, Andrew, look at that view.
Oh, look at the view, Leslie.
Oh, it's the wow factor.
Stunning. They don't plan on it.
It's a lovely sitting room. OK, we'll take it.
Wow, does that mean Leslie's already been convinced to make the move down under?
That's lovely. Can this be married?
No.
No, this is Mum and Dad's room. No. Look at the view, Stephen. So is that an actual beach down here, yeah? So it is.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, that's amazing. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely. I'm quite impressed with what I've seen so far. It is lovely. Really nice. But whether or not I could live here is another matter altogether, so I don't know.
I'm really impressed. I think it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. At the moment, they all hate me because they're all tired and I've dragged them to the other side of the world. So we'll wait and see once they wake up tomorrow and they've had a good sleep. And then we can start exploring the place and find out what the place is about. And hopefully we'll get some smiles.
Let's hope so, Steve. Otherwise, you've got a long week ahead of you. Back in the UK, the Clellands live in a large 5-bedroom detached house in Falkirk, and if they make the move to New Zealand, they would want something of a similar size. They bought it for £305,000 in 2008. If they can get what they paid for it, then they would have £180,000 equity towards a New Zealand home. Steve wants a smaller mortgage this time round and wants to keep it below £100,000. But spacious properties with a sea view aren't cheap, so could they really afford that dream home? They're starting their search in Arkles Bay that looks over the Waiheke River. Property 1 is a 4-bedroom detached house in the sleepy part of the bay. It's on the market for £246,000, which is good news for the Clellands, as it would potentially mean they'd only have to get a £34,000 mortgage. And they're meeting up with local estate agent Phil Curry.
Not too bad. How's yourself?
How are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
Good. How are your kids?
First up is the garage, which, to be honest, looks like it could do with a bit of a clear-up.
Okay, come in here, guys, and have a look. As it stands now, you've got 2 garages, both with auto garage door openers.
You can make this like a studio flat for people coming to visit.
Yeah.
You're a brave man, Steve. But I'm not so sure Leslie's quite as convinced. Let's hope the upstairs is more impressive. All the rooms are on one floor and it has an open-plan kitchen lounge area.
It's not a huge living area.
Yeah.
It's modern. It is modern, what they've done. They've made the best of the space they've got.
Maybe so, but it feels a little cramped, especially for a family of 5.
It's got character, I'll give it that.
Let's hope the master bedroom is better, but will the size be enough to impress Leslie?
It's a nice size in here.
Yeah, it is a good size. Walk-in wardrobe, of course, and ensuite.
That's a good size as well.
Nice big shower.
That's fine, it's a good size.
It's all right, but no one seems that convinced with the interiors. Maybe the views will win them over.
A good view.
Yeah.
And it's private. It's like quiet as.
Well, they like bits of the house, but they hardly seem bowled over by Property 1. Yet if they really want a smaller mortgage as well as a beautiful view, then they can't be so picky. But what do they honestly think about this property?
It's a good house, but not for us with kids.
I don't get the feel. It's just not me. I would be terrified in here at night. It just reminds me of every horror film I've ever seen in the 80s.
We'd be going home if we got this.
I would not move for this at all. This wouldn't...
No.
No.
Oh no, house hunting definitely isn't convincing Leslie that this move is a good idea, and Steve isn't too impressed either. But on their budget, they might struggle to fulfil their aspirations. However, we've got something up our sleeve that might just fit the bill. and it's just 5 minutes drive away in the busier part of Arcos Bay. Wow, this looks much more up their street. Surely this property is going to be over their budget. Estate agent Norma is there to meet them.
Hiya, Norma.
Stephen.
Hiya, Stephen.
Hiya.
Love the accent.
Property 2 is a 4-bedroom detached house on a large plot, 660 square metres in size. It's a stone's throw from the beach, and although you can't see the sea, it has great views of the valley below. It's exactly on budget at £280,000. First, it's upstairs to the living area. Straight away, Leslie seems much happier.
This is lovely.
It's a beautiful home.
I like this sort of plan. It's really, really lovely.
And it's even got the all-important separate study area for workaholic Steve.
Good Stephen, separate study area, but you start again, you're not stuck in the room out the way.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we may have a winner on our hands already. And Norma's got some other potentially good news.
Well, there's a lot of British families up this road, actually. My sister lives up there. She's Scottish.
It's a nice big park, kids' park.
It is, absolutely. Yeah. And they're probably quite safe to go on their own because you can actually see them from here, can't you? So.
Next up is the main lounge.
Really good size.
Oh, this is fantastic. What a
fantastic
size. Oh, this is great. A proper fire.
Yeah. You've got this in the afternoon is just smothered with sun. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
This house just seems to be getting better and better. What will they make of the views?
Oh, no, it's absolutely gorgeous. Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's got a really... I love the drive as well because it's, you know, like the horseshoe drive.
Yeah.
Drive in and out.
I know, this is really lovely, Stephen. I'll just stay here, you can all go. It's me, I've moved. I don't need any more, I even like the furniture.
Wow, that's fantastic news. They've hardly been in New Zealand for 5 minutes and already Leslie's had a change of heart. It looks like she's moving in. Will the bedrooms also be what she's looking for? There are 4, 2 downstairs and 2 upstairs, all a good size. But what will Leslie think of the master bedroom?
This is the master bedroom. We've got the ensuite and the walk-in wardrobe, so you can have a wee look in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Surely this is too good to be true. But the small garden looks like it could pose a problem for Steve.
Well, you want more garden in this, though, don't you? There's a sun trap here.
Yeah. Tim? We'll probably lose the sun a little bit in the afternoon, but in summertime it's really nice not to have the sun in the back.
Yeah.
Because it does get very hot.
Stunning house, absolutely stunning.
It's gorgeous.
I think Norma is already preaching to the converted when it comes to Leslie. But she may also have a solution to the lack of garden space for Steve.
Nice big garage.
Oh, Stephen! This would be the playroom for you.
Just put a computer in the corner.
It gives you the idea of what you can have.
Yeah.
Not that you're getting one.
Well, looks like Leslie might already be sold on New Zealand property. But how do the girls feel?
I like the house, but I wouldn't live in it because I don't really want to live here.
I would like to live in New Zealand because it looks like a nice place, but I can't really make my mind up.
The girls are divided, but what do both Steve and Leslie think about property 2?
Yeah, I'd move in there today. But that's because as well, I don't want to do the journey back home. I would live in there in a minute. That is gorgeous. That is my ideal house. That is what I would always like. I just like the open plan of it all. It's just, I've always said that it's really, really nice. It's proper. It's a proper family home. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice warm feeling to it.
I would prefer a bigger garden.
I definitely would like a garden. It's lovely though.
Beautiful house though. It is a beautiful house, but it does have certain drawbacks. But every house does.
Yeah.
You always compromise on something.
The living area though, is to die for.
So a potential winner for Leslie, but Steve's the driving force for making the move to New Zealand, and he wasn't convinced by property 1 or 2. If he's already got misgivings on New Zealand homes, will it make him change his mind about making the move down under? Before he can make that decision, Norma's got 1 more property. Let's hope it will suit all their needs. Property 3 is just 2 minutes up the road, so they know they'll like the area. Again, it's a 4-bedroom house, but this time it's on a slightly larger plot of land. It's over their budget at £304,000, but if it's what they all want, then it might be worth it. First port of call is the teenager pad. It's huge and Lauren could have plenty of mates to sleep over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Think of this, Lauren.
Yeah, it's a nice little lounge because it sort of opens up on its own. And
Oh, this is lovely. This is really nice, is it?
yeah,
Teenagers.
it's a really good teenagers.
A wee granny annex.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room downstairs, and the upstairs seems to have lots of space too, with an open plan kitchen diner and lounge area.
So come on up and have a wee look.
It's nice, bit of walnut.
Okay. You can have a look at the kitchen first.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Look at the view.
Yeah.
Wow.
The deck. The deck's nice.
That's lovely.
There's just a lot of family room in here when you...
Yeah.
Well, it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's a lovely house, this one.
It is,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's a beautiful home. And it's so well built.
You actually get a lot of house for your money, don't you?
You do.
Aye.
You do get a lot of house for your money.
Yeah.
And it's very stylish. It's lovely.
That's potentially great news. Steve's already liking this property. Will the rest of the interiors live up to his expectations?
So this is the son's room.
The Andrew's room.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good size. A great
Good
size
size,
room.
eh?
Yeah. Andrew, do you like this room?
Yeah, I love it.
Good to see Andrew's on board too. And down the corridor there's another bedroom for Amy, as well as the all-important master bedroom for Steve and Leslie.
This is the master suite with another ensuite in here and
Oh,
walk-in
this is
wardrobe.
lovely. That's a lovely room.
It's beautiful
Oh,
and
aye.
with entranceway onto the deck. So
It's a lovely bed.
yeah,
Walk-in
nice big wardrobe.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Again, that would be
great.
your room.
Yeah.
I'd have
And
a set of cupboards over there.
Outside decking is a popular feature of New Zealand homes, and they don't come much nicer than this. But what will Steve make of it all?
This is the nice entertaining area. It's really lovely because
Oh,
it's actually
it's
got
lovely.
indoor-outdoor flow from the family room. So if you are barbecuing or something,
Yeah.
and it's a fabulous area just to have
Toast
people
in here.
here.
This is a
It
bit
gets
of a...
really warm.
Yeah. Some view from here as well.
The deck goes right the way around the whole, right the way around to the lounge.
So what do you think of this house?
Oh, this one's stunning.
This is what I thought
Yeah.
a New Zealand house would be like.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't like the...
Did you move for this?
Aye, possibly.
Well, looks like the Clellands have found their ideal home, but it's beyond their budget. By how much depends on what they'll make on their UK house. But for now, how will they vote on property?
Right, would you prefer Scottish houses or New Zealand houses?
New Zealand.
After seeing all the houses we saw today, I think, well, the houses in New Zealand have a lot more character than the ones in the UK, which are just big boxes. So I'm going to choose New Zealand.
The houses we've seen today, the New Zealand houses, they all seem to be bright and airy, loads of space. There's definitely a better value of money than what we get in the UK. So I'd have to vote for New Zealand.
So finally, with Leslie not sure that New Zealand's for her, how will she vote?
Seeing what we've seen today on the houses, they're all really nice. And between Scotland and New Zealand, I think I prefer New Zealand houses.
But if all they could afford would be property one, would they be so sure?
The Clellands want to spend more time together as a family and hope a move down under will help them achieve this. But will Leslie be won over by what the New Zealand lifestyle has to offer?
After a successful property day, Steve is keen to keep the family on side and show them the kind of activities that New Zealand can offer them. So they're off kayaking on the Puhoi River. Suited and booted, it's time for a taste of the New Zealand outdoors. But not everyone is looking forward to it.
Andrew, you feeling a little bit nervous?
Yeah.
Just a little bit?
Lauren takes to kayaking like a duck to water, but Andrew's nerves have got the better of him.
Andrew, we'll just go over to Lauren and then we'll come back and see how you feel, okay?
Well, this trip might get called off before it's even started.
But Lauren's trying. Look, she's trying her best to tip it.
Well, how about we put Mum in?
No.
Good girl.
Yeah, how gentle is that?
Look at that.
With the rest of the family safely out on the water and no croc in sight, Andrew finally agrees to go out on the river. And surprise, surprise, Andrew is actually enjoying himself. And it's good for Leslie to see the kids having such a great time with Steve.
Well, Stephen's a great dad. I really love spending time with him, but they just don't get as much time. Lauren's getting older that she's not going to want to spend any time with us, let alone with her dad. He needs to be here now, he definitely does. Andrew, he really needs him now, and Stephen knows that. I don't like to say too much to him because he feels quite guilty enough, and if I have a go, then it's just making him feel even worse.
My arms are killing me.
That may be so, Andrew, but Steve's always looked forward to this sort of outdoor activity along with the family.
It's lovely, and it's not too warm, it's just nice, and there's no midges, which is really unheard of. Because whenever you get even the slightest bit of warm day in Scotland, you're just covered with midges and you can't go out. Oh, I love it. I think it's great. And even Lauren's like this. Beautiful, beautiful place.
So it seems everyone is happy, and Steve's job of convincing them all that life in New Zealand will be better is going to be a piece of cake.
If I moved here, I'll miss my friends. So I really don't want to move here.
Ah, so Andrew isn't quite convinced. But what about wife Leslie?
It's really nice and it's very relaxing. Even going out in the car, you're not sitting in loads of traffic, and it just feels really chilled.
Sounds like she would be willing to make the move.
I would do it. It's just family. I think I'd miss my family too much. Possibly you could come home and say, right, yeah, that's it, we're going to move. But then when I got home, no, I can't do it.
Oh dear, Steve. Do you ever get that feeling that you're stuck up a certain creek without a paddle? Well, it sounds like a lot more hard work is needed to get Andrew and Leslie to agree to make the move to New Zealand. But as the kayaking trip comes to an end, which way will they vote? UK or New Zealand?
There's a lot of things you can do in Falkirk, but most of it's weather permitting, which we don't get much good weather that you can actually go outside and do anything. Whereas in New Zealand, there is a lot more to do. The weather's better on the whole that I've seen. So on that note, I would say New Zealand.
I'll pick New Zealand. I pick New Zealand.
I like the kayak and I like the house, so I think I would choose New Zealand.
This is potentially great news. Looks like Steve has finally got all the children on board, but will Leslie also be convinced by what New Zealand has to offer?
I'll just, at the moment, I'll keep my options open and I shall choose Falkirk.
Traitor.
It's actually better than I thought. I've only got one to convince.
Back in Scotland, Steve is a self-employed refrigeration engineer, giving himself a salary of £40,000 a year. He set the business up with wife Leslie in 1999, and although he loves his work, the hours take their toll on his family life.
Drop the kids off at school at 9, and then my working days 9, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. I've been sometimes, I've not been into 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
After 10 years of self-employment, Steve has realised that there are more important things in life and is looking to New Zealand for the answer.
In Britain seems to be, you just work, that's it, work, work, work. And when you finish your work, there's more work. And there's no let up for it. Whereas in New Zealand and Australia and places like that, they seem to be more, well, no, we'll do it tomorrow. Because it's finished for today. We're at home, we're at family time, which you don't get here. It just doesn't exist.
See you later. You be good for Mum?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good boy.
Steve is looking forward to experiencing work in New Zealand, but Leslie still has reservations.
If the work's not there for him and he's not going to enjoy it, then we can't afford it, and then that's basically where it stops.
And because Steve won't be self-employed if they move down under, she's worried about his salary.
Can he work for someone else after so long? So are we going to be able to still afford the lifestyle we have on his wages? Yep, we'll see how it goes. See how it goes today.
If the work plans out like I think it should or it could, then I will be convinced. It's just a matter of trying to convince everybody else. So, because you don't want to move to the other side of the world, then be worse off, obviously. So today's quite an important day. So it's quite exciting actually, going to see what it's all about. Quite looking forward to it.
So Steve is meeting up with Matthew to see what the hours and pay are like for refrigeration engineers in New Zealand. If he can't achieve what he wants from his job, then he might change his mind about making the move down under altogether.
Matthew.
Stephen. I'm Stephen.
Pleased to meet you.
And it's straight down to business, as potential boss Matthew lets Steve know what he can expect to earn in New Zealand.
From an hourly rate point of view, a good Friggy in New Zealand's earning sort of mid to late 30s dollars an hour, that is. So you're paid on a wage as opposed to a salary. So you're working roughly 40 to 45 hours a week.
That news is okay, as Steve's basic New Zealand salary would be £35,000. Less than what he earns back in Scotland, but he could make it up with some overtime. Just how much overtime he's willing to take on is the burning question, as he could end up being back at square one, working long hours and not having any time for his family.
We have a call-out roster where engineers take turns on being on after-hours call, and those guys generally work 45 to 50 hours a week.
In Scotland, we're about 12, 13 hours a day. Call out 24/7, 7 days. You're always on call out, which really annoys Leslie. But no, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Okay, let's go.
After a quick rundown, Matthew wants to know what skills Steve has, so he's going to put him straight in at the deep end and send him out on site for his first job with manager Ray.
Ray, I'll introduce you to Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, good thing.
I thought you might be able to show Steve a site.
Thanks, Matthew.
Okay.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
See you later.
Good stuff.
As he sets off for a hard day's work, the rest of the family are across the other side of the city. Although Leslie found her dream home, she still has strong misgivings about starting up a life in New Zealand. And she wants to get a sense of Auckland, so she and the children are off to take in the city at the top of Auckland's famous landmark, the Sky Tower. It's the tallest man-made structure in New Zealand and stands at 328 metres or just over 1,000 feet.
Oh my God! That was scary.
On a clear day, you can see nearly 50 miles in all directions at the top of the tower.
Well, it's quite good up here, and you can see for miles. You can see the harbour and all the boats.
Amenities like this are important for Leslie, who grew up in Glasgow.
I enjoyed the city when I was young, and I think for them you do need somewhere like this to come when you're younger.
But she's still not sure that what she'll be trading in will provide them with anything better.
It's got what anybody else has got, really. It's just a bit different from what we're used to.
And her thoughts also turn to Steve and his attitude to work.
He's not a 9-to-5 person. He likes to think he's a 9-to-5 person, but he's not. I think even if we did make the move, he would end up working for himself, and he would put himself to the same hours as he's doing just now. Part of me does think he thinks if we move, that'll be it. Everything will change, and it'll be, he'll be happier and he'll be more relaxed. I think that has to be, and I think he has to do that himself. I don't think his environment's going to change that. I think he has to do that himself.
She's also feeling the pressure from family back home.
Maybe I'm not wanting to like it too much. I have that much negativity and that much guilt put on me from the rest of my family that I'm not going to do it, and I don't want to have to be stopped from doing something I want to do.
It's a really tough decision for Leslie, but she knows that her and Steve need a change, and perhaps it's just a question of taking a leap of faith to make the move down under. Meanwhile, Steve and Ray have turned up on site.
They were just complaining about a burning smell in here. So I don't know if you want to just jump up and have a look, eh? See what's going on there.
And Ray's decided that Steve's got to get his hands dirty. It's straight down to work under his watchful eye.
Oh, yes, got some of this stuff.
Good news for Steve, all this stuff looks very familiar.
It's the same equipment.
Yeah, it would be.
It's strange, it's the other side of the world and it's the exact same equipment.
Yeah, it's amazing, eh? Yeah. Yeah, well, that solved that one.
So far, so good. Steve looks like he's impressed Ray.
I think he's very confident and I think he'll do very well here because he's got a good positive attitude towards. He enjoys what he does, which is a seriously good thing, you know. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a bit of experience as well, which is, he's got a bit of experience. So that's all the advantage, you know. That's really cool. He'll be sought after when he comes here, there's no doubt. He'll have a problem, he'll have to be careful. Everyone will want him.
It seems that Steve can't put a foot wrong. But how would he really find working for somebody else?
It would be hard to get used to, because I've worked for myself for 12 years now. So I thought I would be more nervous, but I was actually really looking forward to it. And then you'd make mistakes, yeah, of course you would. But you learn by your mistakes.
But thoughts of Leslie worrying about leaving family behind play on Steve's mind.
Leslie's would prefer to be back home. That's a family issue. But I wouldn't drag anybody kicking and screaming to across the other side of the world. They have to agree that this is what they want. And if everybody's in agreement, then I would pack my bags. I would pack everything up and move everything over.
But for now, how will he vote on working in the refrigeration business New Zealand style?
Well, all the experiences today on the work side of things, the equipment's pretty much exactly what I'm used to. But what is missing is all the stress involved that you get at home in the rat race. So on that, I would choose New Zealand.
Moving to New Zealand would involve massive financial as well as emotional decisions for the Clellands. They'd need to take into account the cost of living in Auckland as well as what they'd make on their house in the UK.
Their home is a 5-bedroom property which they bought in 2008 for £305,000. We sent round 3 local estate agents to give their opinion on what they think it's worth in the current market.
Very nice, a bit crowded.
More than crowded.
Nice glossy tiled floor. Very nice, it sets off the glossy white units, good contrast. Nice little dining area, looking out over the countryside. Excellent.
Good storage space, plenty cupboards. Quite a tight plot for the size of house, but well maintained.
It's a very flexible downstairs apartment, easily utilised as a family room.
Perhaps a little small for a dining room, however, but nonetheless very well presented.
Excellent size of a master bedroom.
Well proportioned, larger window formation, excellent natural light. It's an ensuite shower room. Very stylish ensuite shower room with larger shower base, thermostatic shower, fitted storage, ceramic tile floor. Wonderful.
Little shoe holding door. Now, 3rd level, double bedroom. Yep, internet access. Nice sky window, very nice. This is a very good size family house. It's on 3 levels, it's 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, parking outside, reasonable sized back garden, with stunning views.
So I would value this property at $249,000.
For a quick sale?
Probably about 239.
For a quick sale,
you'd probably be looking at around about 240.
The property would have an open market value, realistically stated within £225,000 to £230,000. That's not to say it may not achieve slightly more than that, given the correct buyer and demand for the property. However, the property market, as we're all, I think, well aware, has suffered and struggled, particularly in the central market where there is rather an oversupply of new build properties of this type. Forced sale, upset price, would perhaps recommend offers over £215,000.
No chance.
This has come as a massive shock. They paid £305,000 for their property in 2008, and they have made a potential loss of around £55,000 plus.
If we did want to move, then we doubt we could sell just now. It's just not the right time. The market is getting better, but obviously we couldn't take that. It'd be too much of a loss.
It makes it a little bit harder to move, I think, if the house prices don't go up. But we just need to wait and see how things go.
I mean, it is a bit of a slap in the face, though, when you think it could, because I've said from the very beginning when Stephen started talking about immigrating that it would depend on the house, and at that point that's when everything sort of took a downward spiral, and it all really depends on the house. I wouldn't sell it if we were going to take a loss. It's too much of a loss. We couldn't afford it. It'd be a waste of time.
With that crushing news, Stephen and Leslie are going to have to do their sums. Is a move to New Zealand going to be possible at all?
We've prepared a comparison of their UK and New Zealand expenses to see if they can afford a life down under despite their loss of equity.
I'm actually I'm really deflated at the moment. The cost of the house, it's just totally depressed me. And that is a big issue to me. If we don't get what we want for the house, then we can't do it anyway. The reason we have that house and we have that mortgage is because you work for yourself and because you can earn the money you earn.
You get a mortgage of 81,000.
Obviously, it brings your equity down a bit. You're thinking you're going to be 50,000 less for your house than you thought. So if that's all your house is worth, then obviously you're not going to have your, instead of 180, it's going to be 130. So it changes everything drastically.
Let's say the salary in equivalent pounds would be between 33 and 38,000, and you had the option of working overtime. What's your mortgage actually? Between 594 and 1,000. That's something. Electricity. At home.
Well, that's in there.
Year. 842
still get a
pounds
mortgage. We'd still get a mortgage for 20 years.
Aye?
Again, would you want to start with a 20-year mortgage?
I know.
Council tax 203. Alright.
Right, your groceries, monthly shop.
That's £600 a month shop. We're not going to stop eating just because we've moved, so I would keep it the same. I think the food bill's going to be roughly the same.
Even itself out?
I think it'll even itself out.
Council tax 76, Jesus. 2328 per month.
It's working out £200 cheaper per month to live here than it is at home.
The cost of living seems to be cheaper in New Zealand. However, they could lose £55,000 on the sale of their UK home. Does this mean Steve might not be willing to make the move?
It's still something I want for the kids and for us. It's still a good thing. It just makes it a little bit harder to walk straight into something. It's maybe going to be a wee bit more difficult.
Steve, Leslie and the children are going to the pub to meet up with another Stephen who recently emigrated to New Zealand.
This is Leslie, this is Andrew, this is Lauren, and this is Amy.
Hi guys, nice to meet you.
Hi.
He's built up a solid group of Kiwi mates as well as some fellow Brits who've also made the move. Hopefully they can make our family feel at home and answer a few questions into the bargain.
So you settling in okay then, yeah?
I feel like I've never left England.
Yeah?
I feel like I'm back home. I mean, even the accents aren't that different.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's times when I walk around the town and I have to remind myself, I'm in New Zealand now.
While Steve gets the drinks in, Leslie is finding out about how easy it would be for the children to fit in.
So how did you find the school then?
Hannah was 10, 11 when she moved over here, and she really enjoys it.
And it's really easy to make friends because everyone's so nice.
Yeah.
They're just so welcoming. And
she makes friends really easily. She's always made friends. You're quite a friendly person, so... And Amy's the same, and Andrew just doesn't stop talking, so everybody loves Andrew.
Andrew's already found a new pal. They're getting on like a house on fire.
New mate from New Zealand. One from New Zealand, 3 from Scotland.
It just seems a friendlier place. Everybody you meet's got a smile on their face. I'd like the kids to grow into this, you know, and start their life like this. And then, you know, hopefully they wouldn't have all the rat race and the roundabout that we've had. I would say there's a turnaround from before we left, and it was a definite no. I don't even want to get on the plane kind of thing.
How much friends do you have?
Whereas now, they are, no, this is a lovely thing. This is a good thing that we could be doing. So, well, as long as we keep everything, I keep them interested in it, I'd say there's a good chance we could do this.
Although Leslie's starting to really like the place and has warmed to the people, she's still struggling with the thoughts of leaving friends and family back in the UK.
If we'd sold up and we moved here, moved everything here, and you could have the same sort of lifestyle.
It's such a big sacrifice in order to have that, though. You know, you're just losing all your family, and that's
you're not losing family.
Yeah,
just...
really, because I'm not going to talk to.
But Steve feels differently to Leslie.
You can't sit in your own wee life back where you were just because of friends and family. You've got to do what's right for your wee family unit.
Leaving loved ones behind is always going to be hard, but the prospect of making new friends in New Zealand might make it easier. How do they feel?
After 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 against 2, we win. Turn up for the books.
All week, the Clelland family have been undecided about the move down under. Will hearing messages from friends and family back home help them make that final decision?
We've given them a DVD to watch.
Hiya. Hi, how are you all doing? Stephen's still my little lad. He works hard. He's a very hard worker. He worries me at times how hard he does work.
He looks after his family. He'll do anything for anybody. If he can do it, he'll do it for you. Just a nice guy.
She's quite family orientated. She's quite keen to keep her family happy. You know, she's quite a good mother. She's quite a good laugh. She's quite funny, quite witty. I know she's a good sister. You know, she is. She's always there to listen to you and talk to you, and we kind of bounce off each other sometimes. You know.
Oh, she's always good. She's always there for you. Sometimes I'll come through and take me to the shopping centre, get my shopping and that, you know, and keep me going.
Oh, she's brilliant. She's just like one of me own. We've always got on, and I think the world of her. Lauren is a comedian. She's a comedian. She can have you laughing.
She's really fun and she's a really good friend, so I don't really want her to move to New Zealand. I would miss calling for her and just having her around and going to school with her. And
I mean, she's dead popular, really, really popular.
Amy's a thinker. You always feel when Amy's looking at you, she's trying to size you up and trying to figure you out, you know.
Andrew is so funny. He's just so funny. He's a really clever wee boy though, you know, he picks up things really quickly, and I think he's going to be quite bright.
Leslie's not got really anybody over there, because if she's here, she can fall back on her mum, my mum, the sisters, myself. So I think she's thinking she'll be quite lonely over there, and I think she's a bit frightened that she might like it.
It's so far away, it's not as if you can jump in a bus and go away for the weekend, you know. It'll be a long time, it's a long place, it's a long, far away, too far away. Don't like it at all.
But when it comes down to it, you've got to do what you really want to do, haven't you? You know, there's always going to be something that you're not going to want to leave. But it's whether she's going to be strong enough willing to do that, and that's all going to be down to them really. But from my point of view, I probably wouldn't want her to go, no.
I wouldn't like to think that they're not going to be here.
I've never really experienced
any of my children and grandchildren being away apart from like a holiday.
And I don't know how I would feel. I don't want them to go. You're going to have me bubbling.
Hi Lauren, I hope you're having a nice time in New Zealand. I'm missing you lots and I really don't want you to move there because you're such a good friend. Bye.
If it was me, I would just go for it. If you want to do it, this is the time to do it. And if you do it, good luck and best wishes.
I miss you. I wish you were here. I don't want you to go. I'll be lost without you.
I'll miss you loads. You know I will. And before I start crying again, I'm going to say, take care. I love yous all. Bye.
Is it sad to see Mama on the telly and the Gran? I suppose it's always going to be, you do most things but you don't want to hurt MJ, you don't want to make MJ upset.
I hate to do it and I'd hate to upset anybody, but at the end of the day, if that's what we want to do, then, you know, I mean, you can talk to them on the phone, you can go on the webcams and talk to them pretty much every day if you wanted. It's just you're not going to be in the same room, that's all. But
like seeing my sister, because we spend a lot of time together at the weekends and we go shopping and she pops in and I wouldn't have that. And we are very close because we are a small family, so we've always been a close family. We just can't please everybody, so someone's got to suffer. So I don't know.
That's the hardest part. For Leslie, it's always been about whether she can leave her family. The Clelland's week in Auckland has been an emotional roller coaster.
It's the end of the Clelland's experiment in New Zealand, and it showed them what life down under could give them.
Beautiful, beautiful place.
But Leslie was shocked by the first house they saw.
I would be terrified in here at night. This reminds me of every horror film I've ever seen in the 80s.
we'd be going home if we go this.
I would not move for this at all. This wouldn't... No.
And the girls were unsure about moving down under.
I like the house, but I wouldn't live in it. Don't really want to live here.
I would like to live in New Zealand because it looks like a nice place, but I can't really make my mind up.
Steve loved his time spent at work.
It's the same equipment.
Yeah, it would be.
It's strange, it's the other side of the world and it's the exact same equipment.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah.
But the drastically reduced amount of equity in their UK property came as a shock.
If we did want to move, then we doubt we could sell just now. It's just not the right time. It'd be too much of a loss.
It's been a week of ups and downs for Leslie, with the wrench of leaving loved ones constantly playing on her mind.
I was scared to come because I did think I might like it, and I do like it, I really do like it, but again, it's still the same, it's the same thing, it's the family, and especially my mum. My sisters, Stephen's mum, they'll be okay in a way that they can come over, but my mum won't be able to come over here. So these are issues we're going to have to try and figure out, I suppose. Well, actually, Amy's easy Aussie, isn't she?
I think Amy would be fine. I think Andrew's fine. And Lauren, at the moment, it's, you know, we were talking the other day there, and she was asking, where are we going to live? It wasn't if we move, it's where are we going to live?
Yeah.
And when are we moving? Right, can we go and have a look at the schools? Can we go and have a look at the uniforms? So to Lauren, and Lauren's frame of mind at the moment is she's moving.
But do we like it enough to live here? I don't know. Still don't know. Difficult.
We'll see.
Stopped you in your track there, didn't I?
Yeah. Thought it was done and dusted there.
Never underestimate me.
Walking, so you need to go with Mum.
But now it's crunch time. Will Leslie and the children give Steve the answer he's looking for?
So I think I'm just going to choose Scotland.
That's a bit of a surprise. Will the others follow suit?
I really like the houses and I really like the beach, so I choose New Zealand.
It's quite hard to choose because I like New Zealand and like everything about it, but also I quite like living in Scotland. But I think I'm just going to have to choose New Zealand.
It is a lovely place. It's a beautiful place, and I think we could really set up home here and be really happy and be a really happy family. So on that, definitely New Zealand.
But now it all rests on Leslie.
I've really enjoyed my experience in New Zealand. It's been a bit of an eye-opener this week. It just comes down to what's best for my family, this family, or what's best for my Scottish family, and on this occasion I think I'll choose New Zealand. I've got to make a decision and stick to it, so I think I have, and I do think it'd be better for us as a family, and it's better for the kids, but as long as they're happy, we'll be happy.
Despite being disappointed at the price they could get for their house in the UK, the Clellands have all found something that life down under could offer them. It looks like Stephen has managed to persuade his family to start a new life in New Zealand. Join us again next time when we find out what happens when another British family has to decide whether they're wanted down under.
Can today's couple find an empty home to make their dream home? Find out after the BBC News headlines next. And then at 11:30 on BBC One, a mother-daughter combo on a mission in Cash in the Attic.
Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life. Whether to stay in the UK or to move to New Zealand.
Steve Clelland has been thinking about emigrating to New Zealand for a better life with his family.
I wouldn't say I'm not happy here, but I'm thinking, well, is it time to bite the bullet just now and take it from there?
His dream is to stop working for himself and do regular hours so he can spend more time with the family. But wife Leslie isn't so sure he can stop working.
Even if we did make the move, he would end up working for himself, and he would put himself to the same hours as he's doing just now.
The current value of their property comes as a complete shock.
It's too much of a loss, we couldn't afford it. It'd be a waste of time.
Which means they could only afford something that wife Leslie thinks is a nightmare.
I would be terrified in here at night. It just reminds me of every horror film I've ever seen in the 80s.
The Clellands have some tough choices ahead of them, but what will they decide? With its magnificent landscape and small population of only 4 million, New Zealand is many people's idea of the perfect place to get away from it all. To apply to live in New Zealand as a skilled migrant, you must be between the ages of 20 and 55 and be on the skills shortage list. But a move down under is never straightforward.
We've given another British family the opportunity to spend a week down under to see if it's all they've dreamt it would be. After that, they'll have to make a decision, one way or the other, to stay in the UK or to move to New Zealand.
Steve and Leslie Clelland live with their 3 children, 13-year-old Lauren, 10-year-old Amy and 6-year-old Andrew in Falkirk, Scotland. Steve wants to move his family 12,000 miles away to start a new life down under.
I wouldn't say I'm not happy here, but just to get more of an outdoorsy lifestyle. It seemed like a nice place to go, and try to convince everybody that it's a good idea.
However, his wife Leslie really isn't sure about making the move.
We do have a good life here and everything's fine. We've got a nice house, we've got nice friends, we've got family, and you're totally cutting your life off to start again, and it's not 100% that it's going to be the right move. And what if it's not? I don't know. I would like a guarantee, and I don't think you're going to get one.
Steve is certain that life down under would benefit all of them.
I think that our family unit could have a better life there. More peaceful, less stressful, there's more prospects for the kids when they leave school. I think there's more there than there is here. There's not going to be anything here. I'm thinking, well, is it time to bite the bullet just now while the kids are small enough to make a new life and take it from there?
But 13-year-old daughter Lauren isn't so sure about making the move.
Well, my feeling is that I don't really want to go. I'd like to go see the place, but I don't really want to go to live there because I like my house and my pals, I'll miss them all.
And 10-year-old daughter Amy has mixed emotions.
I'm not the one that really wanted to move to New Zealand. I'm fine with it, but I'm going to miss all my friends and that.
Steve is a self-employed refrigeration engineer and, as a result, does very long hours every day of the week.
It is a rat race, and it's a downward spiral rat race. I mean, I work as much as physically possible at the moment, and you're just staying above water.
But his work impacts on family time, and Steve's had enough.
It's good to be busy, but the downside is, for instance, Andrew, my youngest wee boy, usually when he gets up, the first thing he'll ask is there no work to do? I drop him off at school, and the next time I see him is when I'm dropping off at school the next day, because they're in bed, they're sleeping by the time I get in.
Now I'm thinking, no, they're growing up, and I'm missing them growing up, which isn't nice. It's not a nice feeling.
Although Steve really wants to move, he knows it's a huge emotional wrench for the rest of the family.
I do feel guilty that I've put the idea forward. Mainly the kids, at the moment the kids are all happy. Leslie's so close to her family, and for me to drag everybody away from that, it is a bit, you know, it does get to me a wee bit. But I do think it would be worth it.
And Leslie's caught in the middle, as her sister and elderly mother really don't want her to make the move.
My sister Alison's not happy about it at all. Not at all. She's to the point that we've actually had a lot of arguments about it. She's more than my sister. She's my best friend, and I would miss her. It'd be a big hole in my life. When I do think